So this is Kissing Decisions from Garbage Night at the Opera. Nikki's Uncle Pete was sprawled across the hood of an old Chevy, bullshitting with another half-dozen men taking a breather from their bar stools. She tugged her shorts down to cover more leg, but felt a thin band of air hit her waist. Nikki needed her own clothes instead of hand-me-downs, but her mother didn't see the harm in bearing a little thigh or midriff. When Nikki complained, she said, "It's never too soon to show off a figure like yours." "Let's cross," Nikki told her cousin. "He's my dad, you shit," Ray said. Uncle Pete slid off the car. His shirt reflected the blue neon pab sign in the window. The corner reeked of ground-in beer and urine, the sidewalk layers as revealing as tree rings, proudly serving our fourth generation. He planted a yeasty kiss on Ray and then Nikki. "You two sneaking off to meet boys?" Nikki gasped, and Ray kicked her. "Just playing handball with Mikey and Tim." "Handball," some drunk said. "I'd sure like me a game of that." Nikki didn't look too hard to place him. He was bound to be somebody's uncle or brother. It was better not to know. Handball man took an elbow to the neck from her cousin Tommy. "Show some respect." "That is one sweet, juicy apple off of Grace's tree." Nikki looked away, tried not to connect the voice to her friend Karen's father. That sucking teeth sound was bad enough from the boys. It gave her goose flesh on the inside when the old men tried it. "Watch that talk," Uncle Pete said. "Girl's just 14. "She's 12. Ray swatted her father, enough to send him stumbling into Tommy. "I'm older." Uncle Pete squeezed Ray's cheeks in retaliation. "Sorry, baby. It's easy to forget." Nikki followed Ray as she kicked at every piece of trash in sight. "Told you we should have crossed." "I don't see why they've always got to be looking at you." Ray whizzed a juice bottle her way, and it shattered between them, adding new shards to the already glittering street. "Ask Mikey." Ray attacked the curb with both feet. "I'm sick of hearing him say your name." Nikki climbed onto the mailbox and waited for Ray's tantrum to end. "Just kiss him yourself." Ray played balance beam with the curb, moving too quickly for control. "My mom says you have to play love smart." Nikki didn't see why she had to be part of Ray's love game with Mikey. The mailbox bolts were loose, so she rocked it, taking comfort in the motion. "Don't make me do this." Ray pulled her off the box. "Let's go. We're late." Mikey leaned up against the wall of the old cardboard factory, cigarette in one hand and a beer in the other. His dark lashes rimmed the lightest eyes, but Nikki figured he'd join the crowd at the bar sooner than most. Nikki couldn't understand why Ray didn't see this. It made love seem dumb, not blind. "Tell him to go home and brush his teeth." "I bought a pack of breath mints," Ray said before she skipped off to meet Mikey. Tim waved his ball in greeting, then slapped some hard shots against the wall. The old cardboard factory was their main court, although nobody played after dark. The block-long walls were full of private nooks and quiet corners. "We're not here to play, moron," Ray said. "Really?" Tim pointed at himself and then Ray. "What are we supposed to do?" Nikki laughed as Ray launched another double finger. Tim was an easy boy to like, and Nikki didn't mind his dark red hair at all. What they said about red-haired boys just wasn't true. Nikki knew Tim wasn't a fag. She caught him looking all the time, whenever Mikey's attention was somewhere else. If Mikey would just turn in the right direction, they could all be kissing. Nikki said, "I'll play a quick game with you." "Go stand over there," Ray commanded. Tim looked away, and Nikki baby-stepped into position. Ray had her hands on Mikey's shoulders, and his head bobbed as she talked. Nikki didn't understand why someone as bossy as Ray couldn't tell Mikey that she'd be handling the kissing. Ray nodded her way, and Mikey swaggered forward, chest puffed out and arms swinging goonishly. When they were nose to nose, Nikki laughed, her reluctance finally bursting from its cage. Mikey's eyes watered. When he sped off toward the far side of the factory, Ray followed. Ray had warned her not to mess up, but a break from Ray was like a vacation from noise. You can't ever do that to a guy. Tim's bawl punctuated each word. Mikey really likes you. Nikki was tired of feelings being so important when nobody much cared about her own. Tim pushed her up against the wall, his own macho showing as his ball slowly bounced away. He likes me now, she said. You've always liked me. Tim's bangs fell from his face as he tried to avoid her eyes. Nikki swept them back into place, and her fingers buzzed from the contact. I like your hair. Tim's hand slid from her shoulders to her waist, and she shifted her hips from the wall as his arms reached around her. He checked behind him for signs of Mikey or Ray, and his whole body quivered as his lips touched hers. When his mouth opened, it was warm, and his tongue was slow and gentle. Gradually, Nikki slid down the wall with him, but he broke away when they heard Mikey and Ray skipping trash can covers down the street. It'll be worse than just Mikey, Tim croaked. Every day I'll get pounded. Nikki nodded. Tim wasn't the neighborhood boy the other kids feared. That meant he wasn't the boy allowed to get the girl. Tim pulled her to her feet. No guy can stay mad when you smile. I don't ever feel like smiling. Your life is so hard. Tim's lips curled, but he didn't smile. Nikki could tell it was a struggle. You know, I've heard that subway thing actually leaves the neighborhood. 2 people could get on and meet up somewhere safe. Tim's cheeks flushed, as dark as his hair, and he couldn't hide his teeth any longer. Smart chicks are hot. Nikki's cheeks matched his, but they could hear Ray and Mikey trash talking. Tim chased down his ball as Nikki held up the wall. Mikey approached more cautiously this time, and Ray raised her fist in warning. Mikey kissed like he walked, all hard swagger. Nikki opened her mouth, but she couldn't bring herself to move her tongue. Mikey used his own tongue more forcefully, shifted positions roughly, pressed harder against her body. Always more of something, never less. Eventually he stopped. Nikki remained silent, and he nodded as if he finally understood. On the way home, Nikki said, in the future, all my kissing decisions will be my own. Ray jumped in place, her full-body version of a nod. Mikey got to be your first. No one will ever say he wasn't. Ray stopped. What does that mean? Not everyone is showy and loud. Ray raced ahead and slapped the stop sign 3 times, proving she was proud to be loud. One day soon, they're all going to notice what a freak you are. An hour ago, Nikki would have shivered and backed down. Instead, her mouth curled upward, slowly, but not unnaturally. Thank you.